Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm gonna be going over how I made a Game Boy Color game and turned it into a physical product. I knew I had the art skills to kind of get me across the finish line, but what I really lacked was the coding. And so I started off with a program called GB Studio, which is a visual coder. It was still a huge undertaking for me to get this game out. I spent, oh man, I don't know how many hours, but it was a good 3 or 4 months of just like working on it kind of steadily and having a roadmap. And the nice thing is because I do a lot of art and I do it professionally, I kind of understand that to get a finished product, you really sometimes have to just say like, this is as good as I can do, and I just have to move forward because finished is better than like concept. So I'm really into retro gaming and I love that old school feel. Something about having a cartridge and the actual system. I built this because it was the only reasonable thing to do. And I actually mean that literally. To buy Game Boy Color would have cost me about $100. I think this was like $130. It's a kit that you can buy from Funny Playing. You pick out your PCB board color, your cartridge, your case, your buttons, the membranes. It's a Type-C charger, and there's so many like huge benefits to like going this route, and it's backlit like the best, you know. So it's like really modern technology, it has that old school feel, and like with the cartridge, it really like clicks in, it just feels good, you know. And then that classic, you know, puts you right back to when you were like 10, 11, you know, out there collecting Pokemon and doing all the cool stuff, you know. And I just really remember like this just being in my pocket all the time. So it really hits like that throwback. And there's something like, I feel like everybody who's played games has always thought like, if I was gonna make a game, this is what I would do. And there's something about like when you start playing games, that like nostalgia of like, this would have been when I wanted to like make something. So this kind of hit on a lot of fronts. And you know, if you're thinking about building your own like console, man, this is a great kit. I think it's super reasonably priced, and I still use it and I love it. So I built the game in Game Boy Studio, which, like I said, is a visual coder. It made everything really kind of approachable for me. I'm gonna kind of give you like a quick overview of like what the coding looks like, but it's all free, and I think that's, you know, if you're looking to play around, this is a great place to start. There's a lot of free engines out there, and I just want to be really fair on this one. Sometimes starting with something that has a lot of limitations, like how many sprites you can have on the screen, I mean, how large the images can be, how much code you can run at one time. These things feel limiting, and they definitely are, but that really pushes creativity. And I think there's something about starting with limitations and then opening up. Like really learn to crawl before you want to run is kind of like my approach when I'm learning things like this. And I think this is a great starting place if you're interested in this kind of stuff, especially for retro gaming. I mean, this was just a great place, and it was honestly kind of fun just to play around. And you could get something very, very quick in I think a very reasonable amount of time. Went to school for art, and I think one of the things you get kind of hounded for is really starting with your sketchbook, coming up with ideas, hounding and pushing those ideas just constantly, and then sometimes take a step back and like let them breathe a little bit and really get an idea of like what's working, what's not working conceptually before you start like putting in work. And I spent a lot of time really playing around with like, what's my core concept? What mechanics do I really want? And some of the stuff that I did for this game was, the mechanics were solely driven on me wanting to learn how to do certain things. So I've got like platforming, point and click. There's so many things that this game hits, and some things are just oddly satisfying. Like I built the Dragon Ball Z game, and you know, I do have a lot of experience playing like Dungeons and Dragons and building kind of paper games and playing out concepts that way. And so each one of the characters has base stats that are modified depending on what you pick, and the damage is modified depending on the stats. And the game itself is, I feel like I could have made a game 100% based on those mechanics, which kind of goes to show, like, sometimes it's nice just to spread out on a starting project to give yourself some room to grow, which I feel like I did, and I'm really proud of like the actual product that came out. Whew. So talking about the physical copy, this is where like I've got so much to talk about. I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible. I mean, I'm really into like, I can remember the first time I opened a pack of Pokemon cards, and I vividly still remember the smell. And I don't know like if that's normal, but I remember, and I can remember like the tactile feel of things. So like I remember opening the box for like my Game Boy Color games, and you peel back the wrapping, and it's like that. You pull the box open, you got the booklet and all that kind of stuff. The problem is like getting the right paper, like the actual weight of that cardstock correct, and the smell correct was way harder than you'd think. And I even reached out to like manufacturers to say like, hey, would you guys want to print this? And it just got to be like a little too much. And so people want to like start knowing like what your minimum order is, and they want to do it in like thousands. So I ended up going a slightly different route, and I think a better route. So I went with a modern custom plastic shell, and this is made by, I believe it's called customcases.com. And so the cool thing is like it slots for an actual Game Boy Color or old school Game Boy cartridge. The downside is the case size is a little incorrect for an old school like cardboard box. So when I originally designed my booklet, the downside with that is I had to reformat the booklet, which it's still fine. I spent a lot of time on like getting the paper weight right and the sheen correct. I did a classic staddle stitch. I went to school for graphic design, and working in InDesign or Adobe InDesign is something that like I have a lot of skills in. So doing this was maybe the easiest of everything I did. And if you've got questions on like how to do things like this, you can always message me. The paper and the casing, I'm super proud of. It looks like old school Game Boy. I think the saddle looks really nice. The back has got like amazing flavor text. So with the physical carts, I purchased these on AliExpress and flashed them. The game that was originally on it was, I believe, Zero Dark or something like that. You can purchase different color shells. I ripped the sticker, made a new sticker, and then put my own ROM in there. So the nice thing about these is like they have their own little battery, which if you're gonna make something that saves, it really can help with that. These, I just got them because I knew that they were big enough to hold whatever ROM I chose to put on there. And I think that look and feel wise, they're amazing. My only thing that I would say, if you're interested in this, is I go with the opaque shells because I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. There's probably no way of, I don't know if you can see that little line. Old school games, the PCB would go all the way up. Now it's like half with a little battery sitting right there. I don't know how long you've been playing video games, but you went from like physical cartridges that would have like art that came in the box. And there's something about like, a lot of people would never even open these, they'd throw them away. But back in the day, you didn't have a cell phone. You'd be in your car, you'd open it. This was what you would be reading on the way home, like cover to cover, over and over and over. And there's something about like this that we've lost. And I just feel like having this in here just gives it that tip towards authenticity. If you want to give the game a shot, it's available on itch. It's playable in browser. You can also download it, flash it to your own cart, or put it on any kind of emulator. If you guys have any questions, always leave a comment. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this. I really hope, I really hope my brother-in-law loves it. And if he doesn't, I will never let you guys know.